You know, sometimes you're in a relationship for months, even years, before you pause long enough to really look at what's actually happening. Not because you're naive and not because you ignore red flags, but because human beings naturally want to believe in the good in someone. We want to give people the benefit of the doubt. We want to think the best of them. And that's actually a beautiful quality to have. And narcissists, they know exactly how to take advantage of that beautiful quality. So today, I'm walking you through 20 signs you might be dating a narcissist. Not to frighten you, not to overwhelm you, but to give you the clarity you may not have had while you were living it. Because when you're in it, when you're living it day to day, it's hard to see the full picture. You're too close. You're emotionally invested. You're hoping things will get better. And that hope can sometimes cloud what's right in front of you. As we go through these signs, listen not just with your mind, but with your body. If something resonates, if something pulls up a memory or gives you a certain feeling in your chest or your stomach, pay attention to that. Your body often knows the truth before your mind is ready to accept it. Awareness is the first step toward getting your clarity back. And clarity? Clarity is everything. Let's begin. 1. Love bombing the charming beginning. It often starts with something that feels almost too good to be true. And you know what? If it feels too good to be true, it probably is. A narcissist will love bomb you to pull you in for control and manipulation. Now, that sounds harsh, but stay with this. They act charming, attentive, overly generous, and incredibly sweet. We're talking next level attention. They shower you with compliments, affection, and attention like you've never experienced before. They make you feel like you're the most important person in their world, like you're special, like you're the one they've been waiting for their entire life. And it feels amazing, doesn't it? It feels like finally someone sees you, someone gets you, someone is choosing you with this kind of intensity and passion. But here's the thing, love bombing is not love. It's a strategy, a calculated way to secure your trust quickly so they can shape the relationship to benefit them. They pull you close fast before you have time to see who they really are, before you have time to notice inconsistencies, before you have time to set healthy boundaries or ask the right questions. It's like they're racing against the clock, trying to get you emotionally attached before reality has a chance to set in. And that rush, that intensity, it's designed to override your natural caution and discernment. 2. Moving too fast, the rush toward intimacy. Along with that initial intensity comes something else the relationship accelerates at breakneck speed. And this isn't just about physical intimacy, it's about emotional intimacy. They jump into deep emotional territory quickly. You'll hear things like, you feel so connected to them. You're their soulmate. They've never felt this way about anyone. Where have you been all their life? And they may talk about moving in together, meeting family, planning a future, long before a foundation is established. Long before you've even had your first real disagreement or seen how they handle conflict or stress. It feels flattering at first. It feels like destiny. Like this person just knows you're meant to be together. But the speed is intentional. Narcissists don't build relationships. They recruit. They're not taking time to get to know you as a full, complex human being with needs and boundaries and a life of your own. They're securing you as quickly as possible. The goal isn't connection. It's control. They want emotional closeness before trust, clarity, and compatibility have had time to develop naturally. Because once you're attached, once you've told all your friends how amazing they are, once you've started planning your life around them, you're easier to influence. You're more invested. You're less likely to walk away when the red flags start appearing. 3. Conversations always shift toward them. Once you're in the relationship, you might start noticing something subtle about your conversations. They start out balanced, but slowly, gradually, become one-sided. And this one can be really subtle, so pay attention. You share something meaningful, maybe something about your day, your dreams, something you're struggling with, something you're excited about. And within moments, sometimes within seconds, the focus shifts back to their day, their stress, their goals, their problems, their achievements, their opinions. It doesn't happen loudly. It happens consistently. It's not that they interrupt you every single time, but somehow the conversation always ends up being about them. You start a story, and they finish it with their story. You express a feeling, and they tell you about a time they felt that way, but worse. You share an accomplishment, and they one-up you. And over time, the message becomes clear. Your inner world matters less than theirs. Your experiences are less important. Your feelings are less valid. This shift can be so subtle that you don't notice it at first. But eventually, you realize you've become the listener, the supporter, the emotional caretaker, while your own needs, your own stories, your own feelings stay unspoken. And when you do try to share, it feels like you're interrupting them, even though it's supposed to be a conversation between equals. 4. Control appears quietly, the disappearing voice. As time goes on, something else creeps in control, but it doesn't arrive with yelling or demands at first. It sneaks in quietly, disguised as helpful advice that subtly overrides your choices. You'll hear comments like, "Don't eat this, it's not healthy for you. Don't wear that, wear this instead. Don't do it that way, do it this way. Let's eat here instead of there." They'll handle the planning, you just follow their lead. And at first, you interpret this as leadership, confidence, or decisiveness. You might even appreciate it. You think, oh, they know what they want. They're taking charge. They're looking out for me. But then you notice something. Your opinions are being overridden. Your preferences become irrelevant. The small choices you want to make, what to eat, what to wear, how to spend your weekend, they're being made for you. And you stop speaking up because it feels easier not to. Because every time you express a preference, it gets dismissed or redirected. Every time you suggest something, they have a better idea. Every time you try to make a decision, they've already decided for you. Little by little, your voice fades, and theirs becomes the only one that matters. You become a passenger in your own relationship, in your own life. 5. The constant need for validation. Something else becomes apparent over time, their intense, almost insatiable need for validation. Narcissists thrive on admiration, praise, and reassurance. They need it like oxygen, and if they don't get enough of it, their energy shifts, they become cold, irritated, or distant. You begin learning to manage their emotions, and this becomes exhausting. You find yourself checking their tone before you speak, watching their reactions to gauge if they're in a good mood or not, trying to keep them satisfied, happy, praised, so the household stays calm and you don't have to deal with their withdrawal or anger. You become hypervigilant about their emotional state. You walk into the room and immediately scan. Are they okay? Are they upset? What kind of mood are they in? And you adjust your entire energy and behavior accordingly. It's not love you're maintaining, it's emotional instability. You're constantly feeding their ego just to keep the peace, and that's exhausting. That's not a partnership. That's emotional labor that should never fall entirely on one person. 6. Image, status, and appearances matter most. There's also something telling about how they present themselves to the world. Narcissists care deeply, deeply about what others think of them, their appearance, success, reputation, and social standing. They talk about achievements more than they actually live them. They exaggerate accomplishments to make themselves sound more impressive. They name drop constantly who they know, where they've been, what they've done. They show off subtly or not so subtly. They build an identity based on how they want to be seen, not who they truly are behind closed doors. Everything is about perception, about the Instagram version of their life, about what people will think. And you start noticing that their public persona and their private behavior don't match. The person they are at a party, around friends, in public, charming, generous, attentive, is not the same person you see at home. In private, the mask slips, the effort disappears. You see the irritation, the selfishness, the coldness they hide from everyone else. And that disconnect, it's confusing. It makes you question your own reality because everyone else thinks they're amazing and you're seeing something entirely different. 7. Devaluation, the emotional decline. Then comes a shift. That can be one of the most painful parts. After the idealization phase, after the love bombing and the intensity and the you're perfect stage, the tone changes. Devaluation begins quietly. This shift is painful because it feels like waking up next to a different person. The person you fell in love with starts to disappear, and someone else takes their place. The compliments fade. The affection lessens, and suddenly you're hearing criticisms about how you clean, how you talk, how you handle small tasks, how you react to things, how you express yourself. Criticism becomes the new normal, and these small, consistent comments slowly interfere with your self-esteem. They chip away at your confidence, piece by piece. You begin questioning your worth without even realizing it's happening. You start thinking, maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you need to try harder. Maybe if you just change this one thing, they'll be happy with you again. But the truth is, nothing you do will ever be enough because the devaluation isn't about you. It's about control. 8. Entitlement, their needs always come first. What becomes increasingly clear is their strong, unwavering sense of entitlement. They believe they deserve special treatment. They expect you to adjust, accommodate, and prioritize their needs automatically, without question. When you need something, support, understanding, rest, effort, reciprocity, they dismiss it or make you feel unreasonable for asking. They act like your needs are burdensome, like you're asking for too much, like you're being needy or high maintenance. But when they need something, you're expected to drop everything, to rearrange your schedule, to put their needs first every single time. It becomes a one-way relationship. You give, they take. And the balance never evens out. You're constantly pouring into them, and they're never filling you back up. And over time, you run empty. You deplete yourself trying to sustain something that was never designed to be equal. 9. Past relationships are always someone else's fault. Pay attention to how they talk about past relationships. And this one is really telling, so listen carefully. Every ex was crazy, jealous, toxic, or unstable. And in their stories, they are always the victim, always the one who was wronged, always the one who tried their best while everyone else failed them. There's never accountability, never honesty about their part in what went wrong, never self-reflection, never a moment where they say, looking back, they could have handled that better. If every past partner is the villain in their story, there's a deeper truth behind that pattern. Because the common denominator in all those relationships is them, and one day you'll likely become one of those stories too. You'll be the crazy ex they tell the next person about. 10. Superficial or distant friendships. This one is particularly revealing, so pay close attention here. Look at the nature of their friendships. Even though they might have a lot of friends or claim to, most of their friends are out of town, Their friendships tend to be superficial, even though they have known them since childhood or for years. They rarely maintain deep, healthy, consistent friendships where someone really knows them, where someone can call them out, where vulnerability is expected. Why? Because closeness exposes flaws. Distance protects their image. If you keep people at arm's length, they never see the real you. They never see the mask slip. They never witness the behavior you show behind closed doors. Their social circle is often shallow, inconsistent, or built on convenience, not genuine connection. And that's a red flag, because if someone can't maintain healthy friendships, if they can't be vulnerable and accountable with people they've known for years, how are they going to be vulnerable and accountable with you? 11. Infidelity, emotional or physical. Another pattern that often emerges is infidelity, emotional, physical, or both. They may flirt excessively, even in front of you. They maintain friendships with blurred boundaries that make you uncomfortable. They hide conversations. They're secretive about who they're talking to. Some even admit openly that they've cheated in the past. And they tell you this like it's just a fact about themselves, not a warning. And patterns tend to repeat. Some deny anything inappropriate, but show behaviors that don't match their words. The way they guard their phone, the way they light up when certain people text, the way they create distance after spending time on their phone. Narcissists often need multiple sources of admiration to feed their ego. One person is rarely enough. They need backup supply. They need options. They need to feel desired by multiple people to feel secure in their worth. 12. Avoiding commitment and clarity. There's also something noticeable about how they handle commitment. In the beginning, they talk about the future all the time. They paint these beautiful pictures of your life together. But later, after you've been with them for a long time, after you've invested months or years, they avoid topics like marriage, labels, clarity, long-term commitment. They keep things vague so they can leave the relationship easily if it no longer benefits them. If something better comes along, if they get bored, if you start holding them accountable. Commitment requires accountability, something they resist with everything in them. Because commitment means they can't just disappear when things get hard. It means they have to show up consistently. It means they have to be honest and vulnerable and real, and that terrifies them. 13. Secretive phone behavior. Watch their relationship with their phone. And this one might seem small, but it's actually very revealing. Always face down. Always locked. Always guarded. They hide their screen when you walk by. They turn away when texting. They act defensive or irritated if you come near it or glance at it accidentally. This isn't about privacy. Healthy privacy is normal and good. This is about concealment. This is about hiding conversations, attention sources, or double lives. And when you ask about it, they make you feel like you're the problem, like you're insecure or controlling or jealous for even noticing. 14. Emotionally absent when you need them most. Notice what happens when you are sick, overwhelmed, grieving, or going through something painful. Instead of showing up for you, they make excuses. They're busy. They forgot. They didn't know it was that serious. They had something else to do that they couldn't get out of. They disappear when you need care, but expect you to be emotionally available for them at all times. When they have a hard day, you're expected to drop everything. But when you're struggling, suddenly they're unavailable. Their support is conditional and mostly absent. And that conditional love, that's one of the most painful parts of loving a narcissist. Because you keep hoping that one day, when you really need them, they'll show up. But they don't. They won't. Because they can't see past their own needs long enough to meet yours. 15. Gossiping and speaking down about others. Pay attention to the way they speak about people behind their backs. Narcissists often gossip, judge, or insult others to feel superior. They tear people down to build themselves up. And remember, if they consistently talk about everyone else that way, they almost certainly talk about you that way too. When you're not in the room, when you're not there to defend yourself, you're likely being described in the same critical, judgmental way they describe everyone else. That's a hard truth to accept, but it's an important one. 16. Gaslighting, creating doubt and confusion. Then there's gaslighting, one of the most damaging, disorienting behaviors a narcissist uses. They deny things they clearly said. They twist events to suit their narrative. They rewrite conversations to make you question your own memory. They say things like, "They never said that. You're remembering wrong. You're being too sensitive. That's not what happened. You're imagining things." You start wondering, am I overreacting? Did I misunderstand? Maybe it is my fault. But the confusion is intentional. Gaslighting keeps you off balance. And people who are off balance are easier to control. When you don't trust your own memory, your own perception, your own reality, you become dependent on them to tell you what's true. And that's exactly where they want you. 17. Emotional one-sidedness. What becomes undeniable over time is the emotional imbalance in the relationship. You carry the emotional weight of everything. You listen, you support, you forgive, you adjust, you compromise, you give, you show up, you try. But when you need emotional support, you get the bare minimum or nothing. Your needs shrink while theirs dominate the entire relationship. The emotional labor is entirely one-sided, and it's exhausting. 18. Jealousy of your success. Watch how they react to your achievements, your success, your confidence, your growth. Instead of being proud of you, they feel threatened. Your success challenges their ego. Your confidence makes them insecure. Your happiness that doesn't revolve around them makes them uncomfortable. So they minimize your accomplishments. They shift the attention back to themselves. They subtly put you down or point out flaws to make themselves feel better. A narcissist can't celebrate what they feel threatened by. And your light, your success, your joy, it threatens them. 19. The narcissistic cycle. What keeps you trapped is the repeating emotional cycle. Idealize. They lift you up, make you feel special, loved, seen, devalue. They break you down with criticism, coldness, neglect. Withdraw. They pull away emotionally or physically, creating distance and panic. Return, they come back with charm, apologies, or promises that things will be different. This cycle keeps you hooked, confused, and emotionally dependent, waiting for the good version of them to come back. And you keep hoping, keep believing, keep trying because you remember how good it felt in the beginning. It's not love, it's manipulation. It's a cycle designed to keep you attached, to keep you hoping, to keep you trying to earn back the version of them you fell in love with. But that version was never real. 20. Losing yourself. And finally, the most revealing sign isn't what they do, it's what happens to you. Without even noticing, you start losing pieces of yourself. Your confidence fades, your joy dims, your clarity disappears, your sense of identity gets blurry. You don't recognize yourself anymore. You begin walking on eggshells. You adjust your tone, your personality, your emotional responses. You become smaller, quieter, less yourself, just to keep the peace, just to avoid conflict, just to make them happy. A healthy relationship helps you grow. It brings out the best in you. It makes you feel more yourself, not less. A narcissistic one quietly disconnects you from who you once were. It dims your light. It shrinks your world. It makes you question everything about yourself. If you feel like you've lost yourself along the way, that is the clearest sign you have been deeply affected, and you need to know that's not your fault. That's what narcissistic relationships do. They consume you until there's nothing left. But here's the truth. You can find yourself again. Awareness is the first step, and you're here, listening, learning, recognizing, and that means you're already on your way back to yourself. If these signs resonated with you, here's something important. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. You're not overreacting. What you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you've experienced, it's real. And recognizing it, that takes courage. That takes strength. That takes clarity. That you fought hard to get back. Trust yourself. Trust what you know, and know that you deserve a love that doesn't require you to lose yourself to maintain it.